This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If your company's not showing up at the top of Google searches, maybe your website doesn't convert to mobile, Pixel Fire Marketing will ignite your social media presence, entice your ideal client, and engage your brand online. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details today. Joining us inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio is Sarah Waters with Pro. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
What is the Professional Remodeling Organization of Nebraska and Iowa?
It is a great network of businesses. We have around 180 members.
Most of which have been on the show at some point.
Yes, a lot have been on here.
Yeah.
They're comprised of contractors. Around 65% of our membership are general contractors, subcontractors and specialty, and then those that support the industry, like a cabinetry company. They're all focused in construction and remodeling, and they are.
You could have just said hi to Tim Silknetter if you really wanted to.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Dan.
I wanted to ask because, and I bring this up almost every episode. One of my favorite aspects of this show has been I can't wait to talk about the cutthroat business and everybody out for the almighty dollar and it's dog eat dog, and that has not been the case. And you guys have almost taken this. There's enough business out there for everybody and made it an organization. Have you been surprised with how people have been responding to not only just help out their competition, but help them grow as well?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a really good network of individuals. And like you said, you are competitors, but they really become collaborative business owners. And I think like our mission and what I've learned through managing Pro is that you can put everything out to get as many leads as you want, but leads may not mean a lot if you don't know how to run your business.
Great point.
And the best way to learn to run their business is through their peers that have been successful and been through it. They've just been terrific guides because there's so much work to go around right now. It's crazy.
Why is Omaha exploding?
I think it is.
Yeah.
The market is different, right? So housing's expensive. They can't find that home that they want for the price that they want. And they love their neighborhood. They love their school district.
Fair.
And so it just makes more sense to invest in that remodel than to purchase a new home.
How does somebody become a member of Pro, and what does that process look like?
They can go online to our website and apply for membership. We do a review. They're a little more stringent for our contractors. You have to be licensed with the city of Omaha. You have to maintain that license. You have to have the proper insurance, background checks, have a good standing with the Better Business Bureau. We want to kind of vet those contractors for a consumer so that we're doing the work for them to ensure they're getting good contractors. And we also want to educate consumers so that they're not on a Mike McKnight story. That is our goal, is to help you.
Put that on a seal and sell it, right? Yeah.
Nothing worth spending $200,000 on a project that you don't have to redo and spend another $200,000.
Sure. The insurance portion of it is interesting to me. How often are people coming to Pro and learning for the first time? Not only do I need insurance, but maybe I don't even have the right coverage or the right amount.
Often.
Sure.
I would say I can do a little stick for Superior Home Improvement and Dave Benson. He's kind of become the Mike McKnight
of Pro
that redoes all the work.
Sure.
He has so many projects that he might be a great one to chat with. He is just fixing so many projects, and they've lost thousands of dollars in that first initial contract because they didn't know. You need insurance, you need a contract, how the payment should work.
Well, a lot of people show up with a sticker on the side of their truck and people think, oh, they're legit. Is that, I don't want to say, is that a problem, do you think, in the Omaha area? Like, we don't want to speak ill of anybody, but maybe some people just don't understand that they need what they need. And it's costing homeowners a ton of money.
It is definitely an issue right now, especially with storms. It's very
great point.
known that contractors, they call them fly by night, they're going to come into the area. They're going to try to get you to sign something very quickly so they can take that insurance money, whatever it might be, or they might do a job very quickly that's not done properly. And that's where Pro comes into place, where you now have the contractors that might have to come fix. But it's very important to know your contract, work with your agents, and use licensed professionals in your area.
Does Pro work with homeowners at all to distribute contractors or cabinet designs or whoever. And how does that process work? It's customer facing, not necessarily business facing.
Absolutely, it's both ends. We have a directory that our consumers can view. Like I said, there's 180 contractor and members on there. They can see what credentials they might have. They can see past work through our home tour website, where you can actually walk through some of their projects virtually. And then they can also give me a call, or Jenica, my staff, and we can kind of guide you with what are you looking for, who might be better at that price range, smaller end, large end. And we'll usually refer a handful of contractors and send them the whole directory.
Is that the fun part for you? You smiled when you said it. So do you enjoy the we're going to help somebody today aspect of this?
It's twofold. I love to be able to help a consumer know
Sure.
that I'm giving them a good licensed contractor that's going to do great work.
Mhm.
I also love to be able to refer to my members and help them connect to a consumer and do some of that legwork for them when it comes to the referral plans and helping them find the right clients. What I love about Pro is watching the small businesses that come in. They're like, I know how to do handyman work. I know how to fix a deck. I don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
And so Pro, like you said, the collaborative, it's been a huge benefit to see those companies grow. We hate to see in the industry within 2 years, 50% are closing doors, 75% within 7 and 10.
Oh, is running a business hard?
Yes, especially in contracting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to understand those numbers and how to run your business. So that's a primary goal of Pro, is to help become better business owners.
You mentioned your staff a minute ago. It's an entire team, which I think is incredible, because you guys have almost taken the networking approach and turned it into a business model. How many people are on your staff first?
We became Pro in 2023. We branched off from a national brand that let's do our own thing. We were 83 members. We're now 180. And so with that has come a need for staff. It was just me.
Let me check that math. Yeah, that's more people. That's growth, folks. Good. Sorry.
Great growth.
Yeah.
So now I have a part-time marketing person, and I have a part-time intern that helps with membership and all the odds and ends on the back end. They help with the events, and it's been a goal of mine for several years to grow staff. So it's very exciting to be hitting those marks.
When people are coming to you to join Pro, why are most people showing up at your door, and what questions are they asking?
We have a reputation of being a professional group, but we also have a good time. We're very original and intentional in what we're delivering to our members.
Sure.
Like I said, I really want our members to get value from being a part of our organization. It's a lot of work to bring a member in just to leave in a year. So I do have a conversation and kind of find out what are they looking for and how can we better serve them? And then who can we connect them within the network that's going to help achieve those goals on their business end? What's
one of the most commonly asked questions you get when somebody's walking in the door for the first time wanting to be a member?
How do I get involved, or what's the benefit? And I ask them, what are you looking for? What can we help you be successful at? Where are you wanting to grow your business? Helps me to understand who to best connect them with, what events they should attend, and what resources are most beneficial.
You talked about the event aspect of it. Listen, everybody likes a good cocktail. Everybody likes to have a great time. I was at the most recent event that you guys had out at Tiburon, I believe it was. And I had to leave early. Sorry, my kids got sick. It was the whole thing. Anyway, none of you care about that. Anyway, how much of that is we want to present a good time so people enjoy being here, but a lot of it, some people may struggle with making connections, having the communication skills to meet new people. And I'm sure that helps with that aspect of it, right?
It does. We have ambassadors in place, which are very active members that want to help. They know what it's like to come to an event, not know anyone. So they're there to help kind of engage you. We do some of the networking when someone comes into the organization. They let us know, like I said, I have that conversation. What would help you? If it's an attorney, I'm going to help do that networking for you.
Sure.
So I do the introductions with them 2 or 3 times. So most of our best referrals are our new members, because they're seeing those relationships growing the moment they walk in the door.
And there's resources that weren't there before, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Super important to help. We used to say, okay, you get what you put in, which is true.
Very much so.
We definitely like to help get that foot in the door by helping you engage immediately from your first moment you engage in Pro.
And to some degree, you get what people get out of you too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're catching up with Sarah Waters here of Pro on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. I can't help but hear what you guys do and the benefits of it, and not think that this is kind of the franchise model without having to buy into a franchise, right?
It is, and it does.
Yeah, because you get the benefits of, hey, how have you done this and why did it fail? Why did it succeed? Without having to be somebody else's brand and still be able to be your own thing.
Absolutely. And if you want a franchise, we have people that can help you do that.
Yeah, I mean, because like I think about Mike Hiley and people
Yeah.
like that are in a franchise, and but it's also like so oftentimes people talk. So a lot of times when people come in here, they're on their second or third business, and one or two failed
Yeah.
because they didn't have the resources, not from a financial standpoint, but from a how do I do this standpoint. And that's why a lot of people, especially older people buying businesses, are buying into the franchise model. Have you noticed that's what people are taking away from this, is the ability to say, how do I or how do I not execute operation A, B, and C?
I mean, yeah, if you take advantage of that, it's
Sure.
obviously there. We do a lot of education. So
Yeah.
we have full educational days, which are just great
Mhm.
for business and contracting, but also allow you to renew your license with the city.
Oh, wow.
But we also have lots of educational luncheons where we might talk about the benefits of AI and incorporating it, or how it will streamline and impact your business,
Sure.
both negatively and positively. We do a variety of education, but most of them are kind of functioning on how do you better run that business so that you can be successful.
We when we talk about Omaha and Southwest Iowa, they feel like two very unique communities. It feels like everybody is talking about Nebraska nice, right? What are the benefits that you've seen from doing business in the Omaha area?
There's so much business in Omaha. I mean, I can tell you just on the pipeline, they're strong.
Sure.
And we have many of our members that are collaborating, and that's not their job, so they're handing it off to someone else that might be a better fit. It doesn't seem that we're not spending any less money in Omaha. I mean, the renovations are big, the builds are big. I think it's endless, and it continues to grow.
You guys have residential and commercial builders and contractors in your group. Are those people seeing the benefit from each other? Because I think like on its face, that would be the same world, but they're obviously very two completely different things. Are they able to intermingle and benefit?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're primarily remodeling, some new, and construction. Those areas are growing as our membership's growing. There's just jobs where you might get a call and you're not the person, so they can refer. And some just, they want to expand into that. And so those that have the experience sometimes are willing to kind of mentor and guide them through that process.
Is there anybody or any profession, I guess anybody would be your own question, is there any profession that isn't in pro that you guys would like to maybe expand into or add to the portfolio that maybe just hasn't had a spot yet or needed at this point, but is growing in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, anyone could really be a member if the members themselves could be their client. So
Sure.
a cookie company could join. You could be the one that does all their thank yous or whatever.
Oh, that's really smart, actually.
Chiropractic would be great because we are doing a lot of labor and we don't have any members that are chiropractic. And I feel like that's a shame because you have access to not only that employee, but all their employees and the business owners. So I think anyone that could benefit.
People in the construction business hurt their back a lot. So if you're a chiropractor, get a hold of Sarah and the crew. What does growth look like over the next 2 to 3 years for pro? And where would you like to see this kind of? Do you have a number that if 180 is a lot, but if do you have a number that you guys are looking to seek or to grow to over the next couple of years?
I think we'd like to hit closer to that 250 mark. Just continue. We'd like to continue to grow more of the commercial side, the new build side, and just continue to grow staff as well. It would be awesome.
Is there anybody west of maybe Lincoln that's involved in pro, and do they have the ability to do so? If not,
yeah, we have a few members from Lincoln, Roca, Nebraska, wherever it might be. Council Bluffs the other way.
Sure.
Anyone can be a member. Whether sometimes you just want the logo, you want to be in the directory, and sometimes they just come to Education Day or whatever it might be.
We talked a minute ago about the storms that came through Omaha. Obviously, the tornado that was in south of Bennington almost a little over a year ago now. What was the response from pro? Like, I know I've seen a lot of members out there doing cleanup and stuff, but how does the group kind of respond to moments like that?
We always do something in place, whether it's collecting goods, whatever we can do to support, helping do some renovations. A lot of our members were out there as well, putting stuff together and volunteering. So we just kind of organized that as well and go support the community the best we could. I'm in Blair, and we went to some spots in Blair because they got hit next to us. So all of them are very active. We have a committee that works on stuff like that and tries to get out and support the community, whether it's remodeling something or just doing a canned food drive, whatever we can do.
You guys have had some change in leadership over pro in the last couple of years. Just that's not no turnover, just people changing in positions. Why was it the right time for you to kind of take this position with pro and kind of be at the head of the table in this discussion?
Pro, like I said, we were part of a national brand that was created in 91. And it just, what our value was so local. So it just didn't make sense anymore, especially
to be national.
They cut benefits and all the things. It just didn't make sense for us to continue to pay a large amount of those dues to a brand that just wasn't valued by our members. They weren't utilizing it, the services, most of what was being valuable we had created.
Sure.
It just seemed like an opportunity to grow something bigger and to really focus locally on what our members wanted only, not worry about national programs and campaigns, and reduce the fees to a very manageable membership rate. So instead of $700, you're paying $395 to join the organization. Sure. And it was huge for us.
That seems to be a theme in Nebraska. Like it goes so well here because there's such a sense of community in Omaha. Why do you think that is?
Because I'm from a different area. I moved here in 13. And
sure.
It's like from a very small town of 1,000, it seems overwhelming, but eventually it does become, you're like, it's a small town. I'm running the same people. I know a lot of the same circle.
It's 1 degree of separation.
Yeah. And I'm told from others that have moved from Washington and California that we are a huge networking area.
Yeah.
And that's not common in some. So I think it's just kind of that hometown community. Maybe a lot of people moving from smaller and they're used to that network, but it does become like a small community.
If somebody's thinking about starting a business for the first time and joining a group like Pro, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to that person?
You have to do the work. You have to fill your own bucket. I always ask some of my members recently, I've been saying, what is your value and what have you done to contribute to your own Pro bucket? So you got to put a little bit of work in, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable and acknowledge the areas that you're failing or you need help, and then we can help you.
We kind of talked about a lot. Is there anything about Pro that we haven't mentioned that people should know about?
It's a great group. It's a fun group. I have a great board.
I can attest to that. Yeah.
I have 7 great directors that dedicate their time and energy into building this brand. They donate funds and recruit and all the things because they just love being a part of the association. Some have dedicated a lot of years to Pro, so I can't go without giving a shout out to that board.
After the holiday party, was there any consideration of maybe quitting Pro and becoming a full-time game show host?
I have been asked. I'm a woman of many talents.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking time to do this today. Congratulations on all the success with Pro, and we look forward to seeing you guys grow.
Thank you.
This has been the Spotlight Omaha podcast. We appreciate you joining us. It's been brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. We'll see you in the morning. Thanks for watching.